It was a bitterly cold November evening when Daniel Price stepped out of the diner, his 5-year-old daughter clutching his hand. The small town of Rockford was already blanketed in frost, and his breath came out in visible puffs. "Daddy," little Emily said, tugging at his sleeve, "she looks really cold." Daniel followed her gaze to the bus stop across the street. A woman sat alone on the bench, her arms wrapped tightly around herself, shivering. Her white dress peeked out from beneath a long skirt as though hastily hidden. Her veil was stuffed into her bag, but a few tendrils of lace still hung loose, like ghosts of what was supposed to have been a happy day. Daniel hesitated. He didn't know her story. He didn't know if she even wanted help. But Emily tugged again. "Daddy, can't we give her your jacket? You always tell me to share when someone's hurting." Daniel swallowed. That lesson was easy to teach at home, harder when it left you cold. Still, he slipped off his jacket, handed Emily his car keys, and said, "Go wait in the car, sweetheart. I'll be right there." He crossed the street. "Miss," he called softly so as not to startle her. She looked up, startled anyway, her eyes wide and wary. For a moment she seemed to shrink, clutching her bag like a lifeline. You okay?" Daniel asked. "You look frozen. Please, here." He draped his jacket around her shoulders before she could protest. For a moment, she didn't say anything. Then her lips quivered, not just from cold, but from something deeper. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. Daniel sat down at the far end of the bench, careful to give her space. "Not my business," he said gently, "but you don't look like you're waiting for a bus. You look like you're running from something." That did it. She covered her face and sobbed. He waited. Minutes passed before she finally spoke, her words halting. "I was supposed to get married today. But when I saw him standing at the altar, I couldn't do it. I couldn't marry someone who hurt me like he did. Everyone thought I was crazy to leave. That I should just stay and endure it. But I couldn't." She took a shaky breath. "I don't even know where I'm going. I just knew I couldn't stay." Daniel felt a familiar ache in his chest. "You did the right thing," he said quietly. "Sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do." Her eyes lifted to his, glistening with tears. "You really think so?" "I know so," he said. I left 2 years ago. My wife, she wasn't who I thought she was. I took my daughter and walked out. Everybody told me I'd ruin her life. But you know what? Emily's happy. And so am I." The woman's shoulders eased for the first time all evening. "I don't even know your name," she murmured. "Daniel. And that little girl in the car is Emily." "Claire," she said, managing a faint, grateful smile. He stood, held out his hand. "Come on. I can't let you sit out here and freeze to death. You can warm up at the diner and figure out your next step. Nobody deserves to be alone when they're hurting." For a long second she hesitated, then slipped her trembling hand into his. Back inside the diner, Emily beamed up at Claire. "Daddy says when you feel lost," she said matter-of-factly, "sometimes you just need somebody kind to help you find your way." Claire's eyes filled again, but this time her smile came easier. She glanced at Daniel. "Your daughter's very wise." He chuckled softly. "Gets it from her mom," he said. Then after a pause, added, "Her real mom, my sister. The woman who raised me to believe kindness costs nothing, and sometimes saves everything." That night, as they left the diner, Claire wrapped in Daniel's jacket and Emily holding her hand, she felt something she hadn't felt in years: hope. The cold didn't seem so bitter anymore. Because sometimes, even in our darkest moments, all it takes is one simple act of kindness to remind us that tomorrow can still be beautiful. And that strangers can sometimes become the beginning of a whole new family. Kindness costs nothing. But to someone else, it might mean everything.